Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today we are gonna be revamping, we are gonna be upgrading, we are gonna be redoing an area from the old town. This is one of those sections, one of these areas that it needs a little bit redesign work, right? Since the spring update came out, we got new flowers, new bushes, new trees, we got the water beds, we got rocks, we got so much now that we can work on. So originally, this is the original town. This is what's a design, and I wanted to create the illusion that we have more bushes, so I used the mango trees to let them grow, and once they grew, it kind of filled up the area and we have more greenery, right? But I was never in love with it. It was a good thing. Originally, I kind of wanted to have more water. That's why you see the water down here. But it was too deep. It wasn't working the way that I first initially did it, right? Because we could not have more water on the top. But now we have water beds, and water beds are one of the best items in the game because now we can bring water into a higher tier, way up here, and we can create now more areas with water, and it's just fantastic. So now I can actually bring the original idea that I had, because originally it was like this, right, without the mangrove tree. But I don't know, I just was not in love with it during my original time, so I went ahead and then put mud, let the mangrove grow, so we can create the illusion that it's just more greenery, right? But now I can actually bring water, and this is one of those areas since the update came out I really wanted to do. At the same time, I want you guys to get inspired in the sense of, if you have areas, from your original design, that you haven't touched in a while, you may want to touch it, but you don't know what to do, how to approach it. So this hopefully will inspire you, because the challenge of this part of this build is not, I'm not taking everything down. I'm not expanding it, and I'm not making it any smaller. I'm just revamping the same design, the same area, but make it look a little more modern, a little more aesthetic, a little that it fits more of the aesthetic of the island, right? So the first thing we did is, we cleared the mangrove, we raised the dirt, and now we're gonna put all the water beds, right? And now we're gonna have the water. So now the bridge was, especially on the first design, was more aesthetic. It was more a little bit of a design, a little more flair in that sense. It's not like you really need the bridge to cross the other side, because this loops around, right? We have the road looping around, and then we have sidewalks in the front, so it's not like we need the bridge. So now that I placed the water beds, we went ahead and took the bridge. We don't need it, so we're gonna continue. So now I had like options to do here. I could continue the same design pattern and continue the tree at the both end and one like in the middle, so I have 3 trees. But I decided to break that up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bring a fountain. We're just gonna break the sequence, we're gonna have something else, and that was not just full of trees, right? That was my own first vision that I wanted to do, and start using some of the new elements. So the next thing is, let's upgrade the greenery, right? We got something a little more elegant now, and I like the green bushes. I think I want to keep using the original bushes for areas that they're not meant to be so elegant, right? Like a little more in the wild, a little more in the background, and then sections that are supposed to be looked at, then we want to use some of the new ones, so we can bring that little bit of a more elegance into the build, right? So I'm using the small lily seeds right here, and we're gonna use those in the around the tree, so it's gonna be just all 4 of them, right? And we're gonna plant those, and I think that's gonna bring a little more elegance, a little more to look at in this area. That's just gonna look really good. So the other idea that I had, that is on, we still want to replace now all these bushes that are just outlining the outside, right? So we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna use the lily, and we're gonna use the tall ones. Now, as I planted them, and then as I went to the next day and I just kept letting them grow, I noticed that now they're blocking too much of the view when you want to look inside. It's not what I really want, because I want, when you're walking in the sidewalk, you're sitting in the benches, I want to be able to see this little small section, right? It's more like a lookout, little garden, little pond. It's just to look out. And so I went ahead eventually, and we're gonna start cutting those down so we can keep them. So if you look in here, you see how they kind of grow, and I don't know, it was a little too much for me. Now, if you're watching it, if you like it, then leave them, because like I always say, we all have different tastes, so we all have a different way to approach the game. So, but I'm gonna end up cutting some of those. I'm just gonna leave the ones in the corners. Now, the next thing that I did is I moved the actual lamps that were next to the sidewalk, next to a bench, so I moved them more in the inside, and I think I like that a lot better. It makes more sense for me. I think putting the lamps inside the build is just gonna look a lot better. So now I was trying to decide if there was something off. I still like the hedges behind the benches. I still like that look, but it just looked too much spaces. And I think this is when I started deciding, you know what? I'm not in love with the how tall they are. It's just they kind of blocking the view. So let's go ahead and bring the iron fence, and we're gonna just keep fencing this in, because in the old town I use a lot of the iron and the hedges combination, so you can see it throughout the town. So I think this is gonna be a good combination. It fits well with the aesthetic of this town that I'm on, because this is the original town. It's not the coastal town, it's the original. So we are just revamping this. So now I decided to do the same thing in the front. We're gonna cut that off. I want this front to match the back, so we went ahead and just cut the two in the front. We planted it in the back, and then we're gonna extend the fence. And now I have something that looks a lot better. I feel like everything is working together. I feel like I can see inside of the build. So now the pine wasn't working for me anymore. It's just it wasn't fitting the aesthetic, the design, the area. So we went ahead and just cut the pine, and we're gonna go ahead and start planting one of the blackwood. And then in the middle, we're gonna plant one of the new spring trees, the purple trees, right? And I think that combination that's gonna happen right here, once they grow, once all of that, I think we're gonna start having a great vision. But I will tell you a little bit ahead of time, a lot of this will change getting closer to the end, because then I start having another type of vision, another type of I wanted to do something else that was gonna be different, and ideas just keep evolving, and that's what's gonna happen, But okay, so we continue. So we're gonna continue looking. So I'm just checking to see how everything is looking. So the next thing that I wanted to do is I took out some of the old flowers and that they were here, and I wanted to add some of the new hibiscus. I love the hibiscus. I think they have that greenery, but also with the flower, it just goes really well. And I felt that combining those with the lamp and just breaking that up, I think it was gonna be a really good combination. And then, of course, we're gonna add some of the lily pads. And the lily pads, again, is game changer. So you got two ways to approach this build. You can go ahead and not put any lily pads. You can leave more of the water, or you can add lily pads and then do a combination of the lily pads. Every time I do lily pads, I like to add some of the pink flowers, so I will add that into this build, just kind of not too many, just in specific places, so we can still have water. So everything is just kind of equal, just kind of a good combination. It's not too crowded. I just want everything to feel just right? So I put a few over here, put a little bit of the small, just couple of the green ones, so we got more big of some of the big lily pads, some of the big ones cluster in one section, but some of the other ones are a little more spread out, not too many, because there's not that much water, right? And that's how kind of I approach this type of builds, this type of situation. It's just give it a try and error. So now I'm looking. So here I noticed that in the future, I want to revamp this section here. It's not falling. I want to rework that bridge. I want this bridge to come in more into the center of the build. So that's something that's going to be a fun little project in the future. Just when I feel like I just want to work on maybe upgrading some areas, so those will be good video instead of doing a whole build of a whole new section. So depending on the inspiration, depending on the mood of that day, depending on what I want to do, but that's something that I really want to do, is rework that bridge, so when you're coming in, it's more center, so it's more good. So now the next thing I wanted to do is match this front to what I have in the back. So in the back, outside of the fence, I have a tree, then I have the benches. So I want to recreate that back in the front. I think now it makes the build more complete. It makes the build more unified, and I think it just works really good together. It's just one of those things that you may like it, you may not like it, you may want it, you may not want it. I will leave it up to you. The good thing with this little build, that you're seeing, you can do this in any area in your island, All you need to do is just change some of the greenery depending the aesthetic, depending what you're using, where you want to fit it in. But it's a very simple build, but it's very elegant. It just brings something extra to the island, something else to look at in your town, you know, and you can do many types of combinations. But at the same time, what I wanted to show is if we have something that we built, you know, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, and now you're not liking it, you're not in love with it, we can go ahead and just revamp it. You know, it may take a little moment. I've been thinking of this idea since the spring update came out, so it wasn't just an overnight thinking. I've been kind of planning it in my head, so and it wasn't that complicated to do, but you know, it just takes a little bit of planning to do. So whenever you want to get inspired and replace some of those areas that you want to just upgrade them, then yeah, just go ahead and give it a try. You know, I think some areas don't need revamping, and this, for me, this was one of them. I have a couple more sections in the old town that I do want to retouch, kind of bring them up to the build era, you know, after the spring update, and keep using some of those new items that will make those areas look a lot better. So I think we'll see more of the old town now and then as I keep upgrading and redesigning some of these areas again. But okay, so the next thing I wanted to do is, you know, after walking and walking and walking, you know, I figured, you know what, I'm gonna just keep going with the sequence that I have inside here. You can keep it the way I have it and keep it all water if you wanted to, just the water fountain. It by all means, I think it still looks good. But at the end, I wanted to keep going with the sequence that I have in here, right? So I have like tree, and the fountain. So what I did is I duplicated the sequence that is on the front, right? So that's what I'm gonna do here. So it took me a moment. I wanted to make sure that I had it right, and after I did it, then it looked really good. But then the next thing that I was looking at, I was like, you know what? There's still something else, something that I'm not in love with. I feel like I need to do something more to that. So what I ended up doing is I took down the front tree that is inside this pond area, right? We're gonna take that out. We're gonna put a fountain. We're gonna cut down the tree that's on the back, this one back here in the middle too, that's outside the fence. We're gonna cut that, and then all of this section in here is gonna be just all the spring trees, right? And then around it, we're gonna leave the original trees that we have surrounding this area that's more greenery. So it's like purple in the middle and then surrounded by green. So that's the idea, that's the approach. Once I get to spring again, I will come back to this area. We will see how everything is looking. I'm hoping everything in my mind, it should work very well. So I'm hoping. So okay, so the fountains. So once the lily bushes kind of grew, you know, they were kind of covering the fountain. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna raise it. So basically I just raise it, I put cement again. It kind of looks like an extension of the fountain, and now it's just a little elevated, and now I feel now like the build took shape. It's becoming what I envisioned, how I wanted to upgrade this area. So, and then I added some of the trash cans, so you know, because it kind of is a town vibe, so we want to have some trash cans around the benches. And I think now this area is really taking shape. It's finally it looks so much better than what original had from the old days. And by all means, the old days weren't that bad. It's just I was working with what we had available, right? But as we continue to get updates, items, and all of that, there's all these areas that we are probably wanted to keep revamping, you know, and upgrading, you know. And I like it. I like how this came out. I like having all the new trees just in this centerpiece, but I want to keep all the surrounding areas with the old trees, the old combination. That way it's not just for purple, right? We want to have that breakup between and have green and purple, and it's just, I think it's gonna look really good. I think it's just taking shape. We're gonna look at it at night, and I think at night it has that feel, it has that look. I think everything is working so well together. It's just, I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. I think this is a great section. And this section here, as you can see on the side, I have like a little farm on the side of wheat and all that. All that, I have plans for that now. I want to redo that whole section there eventually. So, and that's the great thing about Dinkum, right? You can work on different sections, take a break from something, come back, revamp another area, revamp a little upgrade, and then come back and keep building in your town. And it just, it's great. And I love it. I love it. Doing this, it was a nice little break, a nice little regroup, just to be able then to get ready to build a whole new build to continue to work in the coastal town. Okay, so I hope you guys are enjoying what you guys are seeing. Hopefully this brings a little inspiration to show you how we can revamp areas that we have built already. You know, I didn't change anything of the size, I didn't change anything of the format. It's just kind of just upgrading the area with the new items that we got during the spring update that just came, you know. And I feel like now this section is just 100% so much better. It fits the area, it fits the vibe so much better than what I had before, and it looks more clear, right? Having the water and just the trees, the bushes, the color, the greenery, the iron fences, it's just everything. It's just a great combination. But guys, you made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.